A group of soldiers from the future visit the present to recruit people to fight an alien invasion in the future. Apparently, they've run out of people in the future. The present government conceded and sent in their military, army, navy, marine, but only a few survivors came back wounded. When they ran out of soldiers, they started sending civilians. And just like that, the population in the present reduced drastically. Not until Dan Forrester, a school teacher who was an ex-military, was recruited to go. The criteria for selection is you must have died in the future, so majorly grown-ups were transported to the future. Dan thought of running away at first, but there was nowhere to run to as they had him under surveillance. He and some others were sent into the future, but they weren't prepared for the horrors that awaited them. If they could stay alive for 7 days, they will jump back to the present as programmed. Upon arrival, they were attacked by the strangest looking alien that was so fast and considered them food. It didn't matter how much they killed, the aliens kept increasing in number and they were very hard to kill. The aliens ate every creature in their path, animal and human. Dan and a few survivors were taken to a camp where the few surviving people were left. There he met his grown-up daughter Muri, who happened to be the general in charge of the camp. Together they captured the mother of the aliens to try and find a virus that could kill them all. But while running tests in their labs, all the aliens came in their numbers to free the queen. Luckily, Muri was able to get a virus sample, but they needed more than one vial. The only way was to make sure Dan stays alive long enough to jump back to the present, as he had a few minutes left in the future. Meanwhile, the queen was released and she went in search of Muri, while her children destroy the rest of humanity. She catches Muri eventually and drags her into a river swarming with the creatures. Dan could not watch his daughter slaughtered by the aliens, so he jumped in to save her. But before he could touch the water, he jumped back into the present. He told the government to mass produce the virus and send them back, but there was no way to get back. That was the last travel station the aliens just destroyed, and no one is left in the future. Dan went home and hugged his 5-year-old Muri. Knowing she would die if he does nothing, he takes it upon himself to find a way to avert the alien invasion. Dan and a few others who made it back began researching and found an alien spaceship buried under ice somewhere in Russia. They find a spaceship where the aliens were being transported on. They're all frozen, buried under ice. In the future, when the ice melts, they all awake and start feeding on everything. Dan and the others ingest the virus they mass produced into the alien pot, but the pregnant mother alien wakes up and escapes the ship. While Dan goes after it, his friends discover there's an entire colony of aliens on the ship. They decide to blow it up as the aliens begin to wake, and the only way to do that is to lock themselves in and set the grenades off. So they sacrificed themselves. The mother alien was pretty smart and she was pregnant too, but Dan and his dad managed to get her with great difficulty.